jokes.
That's good.
And I liked that one because I have one. Not a dad, but no, I have that too, I guess. But
not a corny dad.
He used to wear like tight, like little tiny, like I guess it would be considered like booty shorts now, but they're like mustard colored. But they're like biking, like running shorts. You know, they're just high on the thigh. Sure. And he would go and pick me up from like stuff in those shorts. And I used to go, "Why are you wearing your shorts like that?" And he would just be like, "'Cause I like them." But it scared me.
Hey everybody. Welcome back to Elder Elves this week. Whoa.
This year. This year in the Elder Elves, we are working on Tether. I have to move things from our TikTok to our Instagram, and I've been slacking.
Tickety-tockety. Thanks for coming back. Welcome to our stream.
Oh, me? Oh, them. Oh.
You. Them.
Oh, them. Oh.
Them. They.
Yeah.
Those.
Yeah.
The collective.
Oh, can we call them the collective?
Yeah, we can call them the collective. You want to call them the collective?
Okay.
That's fine.
Yes.
Nothing could possibly go wrong by calling them the collective.
No, and it's 4 people, so I think we're up to 4.
My name is Miranda Antes. And you are?
My name is also Miranda Antes.
Ah, crap. Way to go. We screwed it up. You didn't do that right.
Sorry, my name is Colin Carlton.
No. You can't. It's over. It's gone.
For those of you watching this video, can you tell which one of us is Colin and which one is Miranda?
It's hard to tell because we both have backwards baseball caps on. It's almost indistinguishable at the moment.
Yeah, and as Colin. I shaved my face.
You're Carlton Colin.
That's right, comma.
Yeah, comma. Because you don't have a beard.
Correct.
I like it. I'm into it.
Thanks.
I think it's fine. Last week, we had a prompt for me.
We did.
I can read it now because you called me out last time on not reading the things.
Well, I was just talking a lot, and
You were.
I didn't want people to think that you couldn't read, so.
But they would be right. But I had the 10 of clubs, and it is, you witness a gruesome or disturbing sight. What is it? And why do you think it's related to the terror? You know what I realized too while I was writing this one? I was like, oh, you know what? We might want to put a trigger warning on this for certain people because there's some horror elements to what we're doing, especially now that we're ramping up. And some people might be just tuning in and not realize that there's some spooky stuff in here or weird stuff or scary stuff.
Or disintegrations also. So probably. Yeah, probably should. Yeah. We should probably, trigger warning, guys, especially as it gets towards the end. Yep. Knowing us, we might pull out some crazy stuff. Colin had I don't know if it was the honor or not, of playing in a game that I ran that was space and horror, and I did tell them, I did give them trigger warnings and told them that I am a huge fan of monster, sci-fi, body horror, that kind of stuff, and that was a possibility. And I still got the oh my god faces. So there's a potential for that. going forward as well.
So just, be aware. Be aware. Up until this point, it hasn't been that bad. We probably should have done it for last week, but I didn't think about it.
You know what? I didn't either, because I was thinking about Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so basically last week, Charlie saw who is allegedly Jordan's dad melt himself over somebody else and pour himself into their body to rejuvenate himself.
Much like a candle, when you drip candle wax, it was kind of like that.
Drip, 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 drip.
But in someone's eye holes.
Oh, and Jordan had gone back to 1963.
Yes.
And borrowed the body of a young girl who happened to be in the Cutter's house with her friend. And that's what happened. She looked into the mirror, traded places. We'll switcheroo. And that's where we're at.
Now there's a little girl stuck in that mirror. Do you feel bad? What you did?
Or as the character?
I don't know. Do you feel bad?
I think I would feel bad. I would definitely feel bad. If I did it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess we'll have to find out what Jordan thinks.
Jordan's not
Which
thinking
we can do right now.
Okay. Do it.
No, I mean, it doesn't happen all that often when stuff like this.
I got my note taker ready.
Oh, you take notes.
I do. Little tiny ones.
Tiny ones. I just re-listened to our stuff.
I do that too.
Yeah.
But then I like to make
how I use that as a note. That's fine.
First impression notes,
You can do whatever you want to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, this is 10 of Clubs. I witnessed something gruesome. Charlie, it's been a while since I wrote you. I'm sorry about that. I read your last entry and, well, I don't really know what to say. I want to say what you saw was impossible. But I didn't really know my dad. Not in any way that mattered. And a saint or a monster. Or maybe who you saw was just someone, something wearing his face. I'm scared. But also, well, I'll get to that. Let me jump back a little. After I was found wandering the town by myself, the sheriff took me back to the house of this girl, the one whose body I was borrowing. Obviously, I didn't know who I was or how I was supposed to act. But keep in mind, this is the 60s. They wrote my condition off as amnesia caused by hysteria. A vague answer for just not knowing why I couldn't remember my own life. This girl's mother cried. My father comforted her, which was a new experience for me, not having really grown up with one. That was a week ago. Since then, I've gone back to school and just kept on going with my life. Well, with this girl's life. The longer I'm in this body, the more I feel a part of it. The more I feel at home. The more I feel young again. When you get older, Charlie, your body starts to hurt. Your joints hurt. Everything starts to hurt. But this last week, I felt so good and happy. The longer I'm in this body, the more I don't want to leave. Because why should I? Why shouldn't I get to be happy again? Feel good again? Things are more simple here. Maybe that's because it's the 60s. Maybe it's just because I know the future, but I like it here. Every day I walk past my dad's gas station. He's there, and he looks happy. This would have been about 10 years before I was born. Sometimes my mom is working there too, with him. I haven't dared to talk to them. I guess I'm scared I might mess up my own future. Or maybe I just like the perception of their happy life. If I get to know them here, I might find out their joy is only that deep. I think I'd like to remember them this way. Skin deep. Today I went to the church on West Street, just like you did. There were only a couple of old ladies in the office. And I think I saw a man walking the grounds. I went in and asked nicely to use the bathroom. I said I'd been out biking and really needed to go. They let me in, and as soon as I was out of sight, I snuck down to the basement. It was cold and dark. The ground was stone. There was a circle in it. Everything was so old. Bowls sat on the shelf, bottles of white powder sitting next to them. An army uniform was folded up on the shelf next to it. Next to that was a gun and a backpack and a belt. Below that was a black fedora hat and a Tommy gun. Below that, it looked like a very old suit and cane. The shelf of clothing kept going. Each one seemed older than the last. That's when I saw it. In the corner. It was a safe. About my height, with a red dial. It was the same one I had seen at the bottom of the river when I was standing on the Silverstone Bridge. All of a sudden, I felt woozy again, like my vertigo had kicked in again. The closer I got to it, the worse it was. I put my hand out on the dial without even thinking about it. Why would I do that? I turned it. 3, 33. My hand was moving with muscle memory now. 63, 93, 23. Click. I was instantly knocked back by a flood of water that smelled like the river. Surrounding me, I looked back at the safe. I could barely see it, but it was definitely me being pulled away from the edge of the bridge by a purple-haired woman. Water was filling the basement. It was up to my shoulders before I knew it. I had to swim back to the stairs to run out. I booked it past the office, out of the church, my wet shoes slapping against the floor. I jumped on my bike and pedaled as hard as I could. I ended up at the Cutter house. And as I did, my knees hurt. My elbows ached. My eyesight wasn't as sharp as it had been. I felt my age again. And the house lured me back in. I stepped in. The floorboards creaking, sounding like bones snapping. Opening doors sounded like howls of pain. I went upstairs. As I did, the temperature dropped, and the wallpaper reached out for me like fingers from the dead. But this wasn't right. None of it was right. I should give this girl her body back. As I turned the corner and looked in the mirror, there she was, screaming with what little voice she had left. She was old now. Nothing more than a living corpse, really. Her long nails scratching at the glass. I walked closer, still soaking wet, and stared into her eyes. "I'm sorry," I said, as I felt us being drawn to each other. As I opened my eyes again, I was back in the dark world of a mist and shadows that was the other side of the mirror. Turning around, I saw the girl I had been in 1963. She was soaking wet and laying face down on the floor. She wasn't breathing. My best guess is that she died of old age after she went back. Even though her body still looked like she had been drowned. I was old again. Very old. From behind me, I could hear dripping. So slowly, I turned around. Before me, I saw something truly awful. A hooded figure, 8 feet high, with arms that were outstretched. It looked like a dead tree wearing a hooded cloak. A hooded cloak that was made of rotting skin. It hung off the figure, dripping black blood. "Ah, yes," it said. "The drowned girl. She was the first. Very sad. If sad was a real thing. But it's not, so it can't be." "Are you the terror?" I asked. "I am the result of time being an infinite yet growing loop," it said. Do I die now?" I asked. "Dying is not a thing you accomplish," it said. "You are in a crevice between worlds." "How do I go back?" "By going back to the beginning." The creature revealed a puddle in the ground, with a reflection of a young man drinking from it, a musket in his other hand. "Who are you?" I asked. "I am who you become. Now, take him, or it'll be too late." I should have paused, but I didn't. I peered into the eyes and willed myself into his body. And now, I find myself in a time before. In a time before East Prairie was even officially a town. No buildings. Nothing. just a collection of people in a camp. I'm not sure who they are. Charlie, please throw this book away. You're in danger. I'm warning you. Jordan.
You went to the land before time.
Flathead.
Spike.
Flathead.
Okay. I wrote down the combination. I was like, oh, we're going years. Interesting. Well.
Now what?
Let's pull my card. And then because where do I go from there? Yeah.
Okay.
So where do I go
from
there?
Card?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is always our problem every week.
I know. It gets more complicated. A 5.
5 of club.
5. Dealing with the terror takes a serious toll on your personal life. How will things ever be the same? And I have to follow it up with what you wrote.
And yeah,
I like it. Definitely didn't see you going back to the back.
Back to the back.
Well, it was like there's Back to the Future. And this is, what was it? Back to the Future 3? Where they went all the way back to the
Wild Wild West.
To the Wild West.
Yeah, there was... I wanted to touch on what you did with the cult and the church. And I felt like there was a big moral pull for her being a young kid and not being in their body. And, what are some choices there to make? But I also wanted to kind of explore this portal, or whatever you want to call it, that kind of takes you different places.
The wet hole.
The wet hole. So, and the, I don't know. I was just like, all right, let's see.
I like it. It's definitely like we have our two things going. And now how am because now we're at a point where Jordan is just given up, kind of, in a way.
Yeah, it almost feels like that, right?
Like just throw the book away. Like we can't, this is where we're at now. So when I do this prompt, is that gonna happen to me? Sorry, I'm not actually tired.
You're just bored.
You're just
bored with
my portion
I'm like, of the story.
I'm like, that's so boring, Colin. No.
God.
No. Yeah, am I going to be in the same boat? Like,
right.
I haven't touched this book for a month. And this is where we're at.
So. I also enjoy, I realized writing this, like, you and I both are kind of leaning into our own specialties, like in an unconscious way. Like, you're kind of leaning into the horror aspect of it.
Yeah.
And I started leaning into the sci-fi aspect of it, which is sort of our respectful pools. And I was like, oh, this is kind of making for an interesting mesh up of a story.
I'll bring the cosmic horror. Don't you worry. A magic guppy. Something.
A magic guppy.
A space guppy.
Space guppy. Space tadpole.
Everyone's going to be swallowing eggs.
But yeah, I kind of
and
I wanted to sort of amp up the stakes of you know, so now there's another character. Who is the character? Who is this?
Who's this guy? Yeah, person.
Are they what they say? Yeah. Like, is this a whole world that exists in there? Is the terror from this world? Is this thing the terror?
Is Jordan the terror?
Is Jordan the terror?
This whole thing is just Jordan trying to get her body back. And she just disintegrates everybody on her way. And at the very end, she's just like, "Oh, Charlie, we found each other, finally."
Just faces melting everywhere.
Like, she's melting. She's like, "I've been waiting. I've been through the ages."
Yeah,
I like it.
I was like, and like we talked about, we're sort of in the back half now, so
you gotta raise
a little bit more gravity.
Yeah, and you gotta raise the stakes, and you gotta, you just have to. You have to have that kind of pathway. It's going to be interesting how I try to tie these two pieces together. It's going to be hard, I think, because of where you've gone, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think every week we're just killing it, man.
Yeah. 80s freeze frame.
I liked that you pulled out your voices. It was pretty nice.
Yeah, also, I mean, I miss doing that.
Yeah.
I should have done it from the get-go.
I'm going to have to come up with a voice for the next one.
Yeah, we can do that. We can definitely do that. There's also halfway through this, I kind of realized that we're writing journal entries, so we're talking as our own individual characters. So by not giving Jordan like a real voice, I kind of like didn't have anything to play with.
Jordan sounds like you.
Yeah, Jordan just sounds like me, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but it gets a little boring.
She's very hot
and beardy.
It's nice. I don't mind it.
Okay.
I feel it.
So that was this week. Read your prompt again.
All right. Let me reopen my book. I do.
If you don't, I have it. I have it on my screen now. I can read it this time.
Ooh. Okay, it is dealing with the horror. Sorry. Terror. Takes a serious toll on your personal life. How? Will things ever be the same?
Also, I mean, we're coming up on time here, but personal life for a kid who is spending the summer with their grandparents is not a big personal life. Like, there's some limited people that you can screw with right there.
It's people gonna die. Next week on Tether.
Next time on Tether, people gonna die.
We only saw Grandpa in the basement. Where'd Nana go?
Oh no, Nana!
That's Nana! A nice flower garden you got out there, Grandpa. Gotta start it. Gotta get out there early, Charlie, in order to plant them flowers.
It's like
I would have helped
a horror
you, Grandpa.
version of the Pixar film Up.
Oh. All right.
Sorry,
oh no.
Terrified.
We're at 29.
Okay.
We got 30 seconds.
We're
go.
At 29. Okay. You can find me at ColinCarlton.com or on social media at ColinCarltonVO. Miranda, go.
You can find me on everything as Obscurabrasion.
Nice. That's great. We stream every Tuesday at 6 p.m. You can listen to us Twitch, YouTube, hopefully TikTok soon. Okay. Facebook too. Also. All right. Bye. Thanks everybody.